Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, it's back to school, but not for too long. With so many public holidays this month, it seems like April has just become one long holiday. However, some of us will be lucky enough to get away for some relaxing time with our families. Now, we all know that traveling with children can be challenging, especially when it comes to their health and medical emergencies. So today, we'll be speaking to Dr. Darren Green. He's in studio to give us some tips on looking after the health of your little ones whilst traveling. It's so lovely to see you again.
Thank you very much. Good to be back.
Now, Dr. Darren Green, this topic...
Yes.
It just gives me anxiety already. I just have so many flashbacks of growing up, being with my friends, families, cousins galore. And, you know, as soon as one person gets sick, they give it to the cousin, they give it to the little one, but you're here to just give us some advice on what to do. Something else that I also remember doing is always packing a little medical travel kit.
Yes, like a prep travel kit, yeah.
Yeah, how important...
Good idea.
Yes, how important is that? And also, what should people be adding within their medical travel kits?
Absolutely. So preparation is key. You don't want to spoil your holiday or cut it short because you were ill-prepared. So I think first things first, I always say start at the top of the head. What can go wrong when you're on holiday with a little one, but also with some of your other older family members? So at the top of the head, you think immediately of things like insect bites, headache, for example, and fever. You move down, you think of itchy eyes and hay fever. You think of the nose running. You think of a sore throat, for example. You can then move down to the chest, a bit of a slight cough, what's going on there. And then, of course, the gastro that happens when you're on holiday, nausea, vomiting, also with fever once again. But then itchy bites, insect bite, mosquito bites can go hopelessly wrong as well. And then there are also, obviously, a few chronic conditions. So when you pack that kit, you've got to keep all those conditions in mind. But the cornerstone involves having something with you for pain, for fever, for soft tissue injuries, abrasions or scratches or insect bites, for example. And then the gastro part of things, the nausea, the vomiting and the diarrhea. Yeah. Being prepped in that travel kit with something for each of those ailments. And that's where parents need to prep.
I love it. Let's keep these advices going.
Yes.
What advice would you give to parents who are going to be traveling with their kids?
So first things first, know your children's chronic conditions. Obviously, if you know your child's allergic and gets a hyperreactive skin reaction after a mozzie bite or playing with the dogs or cats, prep for that, obviously, by having a topical cream or the medication required to treat that on holiday. And then, obviously, if you know also that they might have problems with their stomach and related to food, changing of diet, etc., take something with to combat that as well. But I think more importantly is you need to identify the signs and symptoms of ill children earlier and then act on that.
Okay. And, you know, at the end of the day, accidents happen all the time.
The jungle gym, the foofy slide, the falls, etc., etc. I mean, you see it.
The list goes on. So what are some of those common child emergencies that we see?
Burn wounds, someone at the bride dropping something. You can imagine skin wounds, for example. You can imagine anaphylaxis, which is a severe shock reaction to the venom of an insect bite, like a spider bite, for example. Other emergencies are falls, where you can obviously have a crack or a fracture of an arm. The jungle gym, for example, and playing a little bit of rough and tumble, climbing trees on holiday, falling down a little hill or a cliff, or etc. So ankle sprains, soft tissue injuries, all those things form part of your preparation and key. But know where you're going, know the terrain. Also find out where the closest fresh water supply is coming from for the gut, and also know where the closest hospital referral system is in case there is something more serious that you need to phone for advice or transfer your child for.
But Dr. Green, at the end of the day, some of these things can be so untimely and you're unable to get contact with a doctor or a medical professional. What should parents do then?
Because you don't have all those answers. So the first thing is to keep an emergency number ready, like 084124 is an example of an emergency national line for ER24, for example, where you can phone, and they have access to private and public sector emergency health facilities for evacuation, patient transfer, giving advice on the phone, etc., to help you through that tough time in the emergency. And we've even instructed people on what to do in terms of CPR over the phone. You know, it's like your 911 that you have in the States, for example. So there are resources, but have that number saved on your phone already.
Okay, it already, for me, brings so many alarm bells as you are speaking and so many key things that we can tend to overlook, but at the end of the day are critical. Now, I'm all about preparation and being ready ahead of the time. So would it be advisable to feed a kid or to provide a kid with some paracetamol before a long journey? For example, a 14-hour flight.
Yeah, so I say all medication must be used for the purpose that it's designed for. So paracetamol is an excellent example of pain and fever medication.
Okay.
So, unlike parents who are sometimes exhausted and use antihistamine allergy medication to knock their kids out for the flight, no, we're not going there. We're speaking about essential meds. Absolutely, and very, very little side effects to paracetamol, as you know, an excellent pain choice as well as fever medication with little side effects and easy to administer when you're on the go and traveling.
Stunning. Well, you always are helping me so much, and I can definitely run back to everyone that I know that has a child and just prep them.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming
Thank
through.
you.
Always a pleasure. Now, Dr. Darren Green has joined us and he has dropped some incredible knowledge. This is some good advice for traveling with the family, and I'm definitely going to keep it in mind for my friends who have kids. Now, remember, if you have any questions regarding your kids' health when traveling, speak to your doctor for advice before you embark on your trip.
Introducing new PANADO Pediatric Syrup 5ml sachets. They're really convenient to pack and easy to use, so you're always prepared for pain and fever anytime, anywhere.